I apologize, first off, because there is an extremely loud reefer parked a couple trucks down from me. And this reefer must be really old because it's extremely loud. But anyway, welcome to Trucking with Old Snapper. And of course, I'm Old Snapper. It's also my CB handle. If you see me out here, please feel free to give me a holler. I love talking to y'all on the radio. We can debate about inflation or something. You know, it makes the time go by. It's a lot of fun. In this video, we're going to talk about mistakes I've made on the road over the years. I know sometimes when drivers first get started, or even sometimes experienced drivers, you'll make a mistake and you'll feel real bad about it. And I know as new drivers, I run into them sometimes, and they will have made a couple mistakes and they'll be thinking about getting out of the industry. They feel like they can't do it or something like that. And so I'll make this video for them. I know you'll see a lot of trucks out here on the road that got them 2 million miles accident free and all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying it's impossible. Maybe if you're on a dedicated route for a very long time or something like that. But it's very unlikely. We drive a lot of miles, and if you think about it, the odds are just there that something is going to happen. You're going to make a mistake. We're human beings. It's just something that happens. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean it should happen every day. It shouldn't. And if it happens too often, it might put you out of the industry. Companies won't want to hire you, so you want to try to keep it to a minimum. But it does happen from time to time. We're going to talk about that. First, though, I want to tell you, Saturday, I'm going to be interviewing a female trucker by the name of Jeanette. Very nice lady. She's a feisty little thing, but a very nice lady. She's feisty from what I understand. I don't know her personally. Another person introduced us so I can interview her and get a female's perspective on the industry. She's been in the industry a long time. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be good. There towards the end of that interview, I'm going to open it up so that whoever's there in the chat can ask questions as well. Any questions they have for her also. Anyway, let's get into this. Old snappers, mistakes on the road. Well, one time I went to the wrong address, and it was completely my fault. It was a rookie mistake. I didn't verify the address. I don't remember if I went to the address on the paperwork or the address on the computer in the truck. But I went to one. They were different, and I went to one and not the other. They ended up being about 70 miles apart, and the one that I went to was actually a office. It was the office of the company that I was going to, but the actual warehouse was about 70 miles away, and that was up in Wisconsin. I still made it there. I still made it on time. I was extremely early to the first stop, if you want to call it that. But that was totally my fault. We, as drivers, we're supposed to verify those addresses and make sure we're headed to the right one. And I didn't do that. That's one of the mistakes I've made. One time I hit a rock out here. You ever been in those shippers and receivers, and sometimes they put rocks out along the edge of the concrete, either guiding in or even out in front of the dock sometimes, so that you don't drive onto the grass? Well, I was going around a warehouse that had a little road that went around it, and the road was lined with those rocks. And I was cutting it kind of wide, making sure that my trailer would clear. Wasn't paying attention to my front right corner, and I ended up clipping one of those rocks. If you've ever heard fiberglass when it cracks, you'll never forget it. But that was one of those times. Instantly I heard that fiberglass start cracking and breaking, and I knew I'd messed up. Sure enough, hit one of those rocks. And it was at night, and that again was my fault. As a driver, we're supposed to be aware all the way around the truck, or all points of the truck are. And I was tired. I was not a rookie when I made that mistake. I was just tired and just screwed up. One time, and I was a rookie when I did this. I was actually in training, I believe. I was with a trainer. But we delivered up in Carlston, New Jersey. And I believe it's Route 1 that runs through there. And it was under road construction at the time. And I was driving, and we were getting back onto Route 1 from the place that we delivered to. Trainer was in a hurry because there was traffic coming. And as you know, in New Jersey, if you got a break in the traffic, you take it, because you may not get another chance for quite a while. So he's hustling me to get on out there, and I wasn't paying attention, and I wasn't far enough to the left when I made my right-hand turn. I ended up catching the fire hydrant with the DOT bumper on my right. Broke the fire hydrant, pulled it completely out of the ground. Not only pulled it out of the ground, but it actually came loose from the DOT bumper back behind the trailer, right in the middle of Route 1. Luckily, I didn't get a ticket. I fully expected to get a ticket on that one, but it actually extended my training a little bit, so old Snapper got a little extra training because he screwed up. But hey, it is what it is. Lesson learned. One time I was out in Long Island. I was going to Uncle Wally's Muffins, and I missed the exit that I needed. I got off at the next exit, and then I saw a Starbucks and a little mini mall. I tried to get into it, but I couldn't get into it. But I'd already turned onto the road that Starbucks and mini mall was on, but I couldn't get into that location. And this road dead-ended into a neighborhood. So instead of doing the right thing and calling the law and having them block the road so I could back all the way back up to the light, I tried to fix it myself, and I made a right turn, and I turned into that neighborhood and made the block. I was so proud of myself. I was pretty new at this point, but I was so proud of myself because when I got back to the main road, I hadn't hit anything. I hadn't taken down any power lines. I was sitting pretty, and I was happy. I went to make that right onto the main road, and again, didn't cut it far enough to the left. I ended up catching a bush. This lady had decorative bushes out by her sidewalk. Well, I ended up catching one on the DOT bumper and uprooted it, and it was hung onto my DOT bumper. I drug it all the way up to the light. When I got to the light, I jumped out of the truck. I ran back there. I pulled the bush off. I went and set it on the sidewalk, ran over and got back in my truck. Yeah, that was one of old Snapper's blonde moments. I'm not blonde, but I probably should have been after that one. One time, back when I was running Reefer, I picked up a loaded Reefer trailer in Dallas, Texas. And the Reefer said full. And you're supposed to check it because sometimes those needles get stuck. They're not correct. And I was in a hurry. I think the load was going to Denver. And I ran up there and hooked up to it, jumped in the truck, took off. Well, on 287, right about Memphis, Texas, there's a Love's there. Right before that Love's, I remember looking in the mirror. And I'm not sure if that Love's was there at the time or not, but it was right in that area. But I remember looking in the mirror, and my light to the Reefer was flashing. So I pull off there, and I don't think the Lowe's was there, because I don't think I pulled into that. I pulled off on the side somewhere. I go back there, and a little bit of investigation, and realized that I'm out of Reefer fuel. So there was a gas station there. I went over, paid out of my pocket, got some diesel fuel, got it put in there, called the company I was working for, let them know what I'd done, because I had a load of meat, so I had to keep an eye on the temperature and all that kind of stuff. But I made 2 trips of diesel fuel to get a little bit of diesel fuel in that tank. Then I hand primed it, And I don't know if any of y'all have ever hand primed a reefer, but it sucks. It's a little like push button deal that's inside the reefer unit itself, but you open the doors and you unscrew it and it pops out about an inch or inch and a half, and you got to sit there and push on it, and you just keep pushing on it. It took me about 45 minutes of pushing that thing before I got the reefer to crank up. Drivers, please don't run a reefer out of fuel. It sucks. I mean, that was a bad deal. Oh man, one time in Austin, Texas. Yeah, this one here is it wasn't really my fault, but I probably could have handled it differently. I was in traffic. Yeah, Austin, Texas in traffic, right? Like, that's a shocker. Well, I was in traffic, and I think I was in the second lane from the right. And I was hauling a reefer. A pickup truck in front of me was hauling a trailer, and he lost a piece of pipe, like a 3-foot piece of pipe, maybe 1 inch in diameter, fell off of his trailer. And I seen it. You know, I wasn't real close to him. I seen it hit the ground. I tried to square up on it and run it right underneath the trailer, you know, right underneath the truck and trailer. I tried to square up on it. It was flat on the ground, you know, it wasn't sticking up. Well, it caught one of the drive tires, and that drive tire shot that piece of pipe upward, and it put it right into the bottom of my reefer tank. I lost 60 or 70 gallons of reefer fuel right there on the side of the highway. We ended up losing that load. Oh, it was a mess, man. It was a total mess. Really embarrassing. You know, I had cops out there, hazmats out there, fire departments out there. They're putting hay out, trying to keep this diesel from getting into the water system. I'm on the phone with the company I work for. You know, drivers passing by, they're all looking at you. It's embarrassing when that happens. But, hey, you drive long enough, things are going to happen. So if you're a new driver, and maybe you messed up recently, or something's happened, or you made a mistake, even if it was your fault, just remember, you're not the only one. It happens to a lot of us. I'm not going to say that there's nobody out here who's never had an accident. I'm sure there are some, but that's a rarity. I would venture to say that most people that have those million-mile no accident stickers on their truck just didn't get caught. But I'm sure at some point in time they made a mistake that would have been considered an incident or an accident at one point in time or another. Well, I'm up here in Price, Utah, and it is cold. I picked up this load that I'm on. I got it in Houston, Texas. It's going to be going to Salt Lake City, Utah. It's a Walmart load. I'll be delivering in Salt Lake City, Utah. Then I have to run over to our company terminal tomorrow after I deliver and do my annual review. And annual reviews are always nice. It means I'm going to get a penny raise, right? Or hopefully. We'll see how the review goes. But I hope all of y'all are staying safe out there, staying out of trouble, staying warm. It's been a long winter. We're getting towards the end of this winter. Hopefully it'll come to an end here pretty soon. Those brothers and sisters that are going to be headed to Vegas here in another week or so, y'all stay safe. Enjoy y'all's trip down to Vegas. I will not be in Vegas. I'm not going to be going. So if you're headed there for that, I won't be there. But there will be plenty of other YouTubers there. I think Nevada Trucking and Trails will be there. James Best will be there. I'd have to think, but I think there's a few others that are gonna be there as well, and it should be a lot of fun. Hopefully they all have well, James is going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. He'll probably spend a month recuperating from that trip, I'm sure. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. I appreciate all of you that have popped up here recently. Appreciate all your support and watching my videos. I look forward to chatting with y'all on Saturday when we do this live. And I think of some questions y'all might have for Miss Lynette. I'm sure she'll enjoy that as well. Y'all stay safe, take care, and stay out of trouble. And keep trucking.